Hi, so your question is about question 8 on queries essay. And it says to create a query that shows the student ID, a field called hourly cost, length of sessions, the number of sessions, and the cost. Okay, so there's what it says. Okay, so I've opened the database here and I'm going to go ahead and create a table, a query, sorry. And it says to use TBL contract, so I'm going to go over here and use TBL contract and I'll say close. Okay. And then here the instructions say create the query that shows the following. So the student ID, it says. Then it says hourly cost that calculates. So I think I'm going to wait on that one and see, because that seems like that might be harder. So I'll go to the next one, the length of sessions. Okay, so the length of sessions. Well, there's one called length, and then the number of sessions, num sessions, I'm going to guess is that, and then the cost. Okay, so we've got all those, and then we've got hourly cost, and I'm like, I don't really know what hourly cost is at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and look at the data. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run this, and I'm just going to look at it and see what the data says. Okay, well, what it says here is that, okay, so you can see here that there is a caption that's giving you a clue here that it's the length in hours. Okay, so this is, each one of these are the number of hours that are happening, okay, and the number of sessions. So you kind of can imply that the length of the number of hours and the number of sessions, right? You can imply some information about that. And then you know that the cost, the total cost, is $400. You can imply total cost there as well. And sometimes when you're working on a database, this is what you need to do, is make some inferences. Because when you're out on the job, you've got to figure things out. It's not all laid out pretty like in school. You got to think through things. And so this is one of the things that I'm trying to get you to do in this particular question. So referring back to the description of the exercise, here it says a field called hourly cost that calculates the hourly cost of a service. Okay, so we've got to figure out hourly cost. How do we do that? Well, in general, you would have you would probably be thinking about, okay, this is my overall cost, and then here is it's saying length, okay, and it's length in hours, and the number of sessions. So you got to think through this a little bit. So if you think about when you pay for a service, okay, maybe the service is $50 an hour. And so you could have a service last 1 hour, and you could have multiple sessions, right? So then if you were to have multiple sessions at $50 an hour, so the length is 1 hour, okay, and you could have, say, 10 sessions. And so um, what would that be altogether? That would be $500, right? Because one session, the length is 50 or is 1 hour, and you're paying $50 an hour, so that's $500. $500. So I think I'm going to draw this out. Okay, this might be better. Ugh, coughing fit on tape, narrowly averted. All right, here we are. We have hourly cost, and the length is 1, the number of sessions, and the total, so the total cost. All right. So, but what we're looking for is hourly cost. We have the length, number of sessions, and the cost, right? All right. So, one moment while I fix this. Okay. So let's say we have a situation where we know the length is 1, and we know that the sessions are 10. We'll do that again. And we know that the cost is 500, right? Okay, so we know all this information, and what we wanted, this right here, is the culprit in question. That's what we'll be given. Well, all right, so before we multiplied everything out and we got the cost, okay? But now we're having to go backward, okay? So how would we get from all this information to here? Well, okay, so if we take the length times the number of sessions, okay, that tells us something. And then we divide it by the cost, we should get 50, right? Okay, so let's try another example. And let's see how you do with that example. Okay, so let's say we have the length of 2, and we have number of sessions, say as 20, for example, and the cost is $1,200. Okay, so the length times the number of sessions, okay, you'll get 40, okay? Well, this number times these guys will get you the cost, but we don't know what this number is. So you have to kind of do the opposite, which is divide instead of multiply. So here I've got the length and the number of sessions, but I want to know what this is. So I'm going to have to take this times this, divide it into this. Okay, so when I do that, 1,200 divided by 40, I'm going to get 60, I think, right? No, wait, let me think. No, I think it's 30. Let's try it, okay? So I'm going to get 30. So we'll check my math. 30 times 2 is 60. 60 times 20 is $1,200. Okay, I checked my math, so I'm right. Okay, so anyway, it's always good to check your math. But that's the whole idea. You're going to take the cost, and then you're going to divide it by these two, the multiplication of these two items. Okay? So, how would you write that? Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and just type it out. Sort of the way that I'm saying it is, let's say, cost divided by the um, multiplication of the length um, times the number of sessions. Okay, so that would be what the hourly cost is, right? So you would assign that to that. So you would assign this calculation to this value. All right, hope that helps.